everybody, and welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, boy, are we excited to be here
We're
as
back.
usual. We're back, of course, as always, as we will be every week. My name is James Pietragallo, of course. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
And thank you folks so much for joining us again.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed last
back.
week.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back, Durbano,
Mace
last
song.
week. Yeah, that was bad. Welcome back, Durbano, last week. That's what we should have called it. I loved Steve Durbano.
He was so fun.
He was so much fun. You don't get a better psychopath than that. It's
just such an indignant death.
It's so sad. The whole thing was sad.
Terribly sad.
This guy tonight that we have, but before we get started on tonight, I would like to remind everybody to please rate, review on iTunes.
God damn it, do it.
It's so important to us. So please, it takes a minute, I know, just, while you're you can do it while you're listening to the episode.
That'd be nice.
Go right on your phone, write a review, it's right there.
It keeps playing.
It keeps playing. You don't even have to turn it off. So just listen to it and go. Wait till you hit a laugh and then write your review because it'll be better.
Right.
But thank you guys so much for doing that, and we appreciate
and then
it.
tag something that's going on in the episode. Right now I'm listening to Jimmy Whisman tell me to write a review, and now I'm writing a review.
Yeah,
Say something
you can
like
do that. That's
I
fine.
mean, yeah.
I'm following instructions, and we'll be happy about that.
Yeah, that's fine too. 5 stars, and then the comment, I'm following instructions.
So
I'm good with that.
We've had a ton of new listeners lately, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. And we had a lot from Australia in the last couple of weeks.
Fantastic.
Which is we love that. And so in honor of that tonight.
And, we were talking about that too, that we were curious why people in Australia were into it. And you said, your quote was, they like 2 assholes making fun of shit.
Yeah.
So
I think they like a mean-spirited approach to things.
Thank you guys for your black hearts. We appreciate it because like minds, my friends.
And thank you everyone everywhere who's listening. But usually if we see like a substantial, one week it was the UK, we got a ton of subscribers, so we did a soccer episode there. So we'll try to kind of do a little bit. And this one, it doesn't matter where you're from. This story is batshit, I'm telling you.
Before we start, Sean Banner, thank you for being so kind.
Yes, we love that guy, and we love Wed Better, of course, too.
And
our favorite Twitter people.
You're a honk for us, and I love you for it.
We love it so much.
Thank you guys.
Feel free to push us to whoever you want.
Yeah.
That goes for everybody out there. Tell everyone to tune in and help us out. Crime and Sports Movement.
And Mr. Wellesley, the new one that's following me. I love you.
So here we go. This week,
that is. Okay, let's go.
We have, this is probably our most dangerous person that we've encountered. I mean, Robert Rozier was pretty dangerous, don't get me wrong, but he was still just going around stabbing people that were like sort of whatever. This guy,
it's
a cult. It's a cult thing. I mean, Bruno de Souza had like a hit squad, but it was like his jerk off cousin and some guy named Bola. It wasn't anything spectacular. This has it all. This is failed potential. Yeah. This is organized crime
and a vile
violence.
Yeah.
And he's just this guy.
Puke.
He is, but you'll see from what it's a tale of a gullible chap, we'll say. Right. Okay, but not an innocent gullible chap
dummies.
At all. But he's that's the sad thing too. He's not dumb like a lot of our criminals. So how many dumb criminals have we had so far? Honestly, Snook is an idiot. Ray Carruth and Lawrence Phillips seem like morons. Like Jason Williams was pretty smart. A lot of these guys are pretty. Even Eddie Johnson's very smart.
I guess the dumbest is the fucking swindler that just everybody just listens to. You know what I mean?
That's
Philly's,
true.
Fuck's his name?
Lenny Dykstra. Lenny Dykstra.
He's about as dumb as it gets because he's pretty stupid. But he figured out somehow to take that stupidity and make it work for him.
I'd like to see him and Jimmy Snuka have like an IQ contest and see who wins that one. A couple of psychopaths.
Lenny Dykstra and Snuka in a spelling bee.
Oh, God, that'd be amazing. That would not last long. They'd be out quickly with their names.
Yeah.
Lenny? Oh, shit, I don't know. I don't read books. It's bad for my eyes. Can't
spell restaurant. Spell fucking receipt. Spell receiver.
Go back and, if you're new, go back and listen to all these other episodes so you know what the hell we're talking about, because we're going to reference these people a lot. Tonight's person of the week, our scum of the week, our idiot of the moment, is a gentleman named Evangelos Goussis.
All right.
Okay, goes by Ange Goussis. Everybody calls him Ange. He is a kickboxer and a boxer. Very promising kickboxer and boxer. Let's start from the beginning with him. He is a psychopath, number one. He is a fighter. We'll get into all of this. He's born on September 14th, 1967. He's from the USSR.
Oh,
He was born in Tashkent, USSR, which is in Uzbekistan, current day. He was in that whole thing. His parents were Greek immigrants. This is in the 60s, so this is hardcore communism.
Yeah, before Al-Qaeda ruined the USSR.
This is communism right here. Did your phone just go
that was
up?
my phone.
My God, Jimmy Whisman.
Done.
Good Lord. Crime and Sports listeners, let's all send out
That's my wife
an evil
texting
vibe
me to find out where I am.
to Jimmy Whisman's wife right now for interrupting the show. That is ridiculous. His parents were Greek immigrants. His father was a resistance fighter against the Nazis in Greece, actually, during World War II. And then he was fighting for the leftist communists in Greece in the Greek Civil War that followed World War II.
He was a real fighter.
He's a fighter, the father. Apparently in Greece there, the right-wing side won, so his father took the family to the USSR.
All right.
And that's why that happened. That is where young Evangelos Goussis was born. So they lived in the USSR. They came up like that. Father served 3 years in the Russian army. He worked as a bricklayer. So, I mean, how depressing is that?
Yeah.
Working as a Russian bricklayer.
Yeah, very, very struggling life. That's what he grew up with.
I did that. You can't even picture like color in that picture.
No.
That's just gray.
It's
sad.
It's a lot of black and white and vodka.
A lot of vodka, my friend. A lot of vodka. That was the next thing. His brother said on his brother's. He has an older brother that we are going to talk a lot to tonight, and his older brother. I feel for this guy so much because I have two older brothers, and one of them was a bit of a nudnik in his younger years, and you just go, Jesus Christ, I want to slap the shit out of this fucking kid. And his brother just repeatedly through his whole life, he's just the most frustrated man ever. And we're going to hear a lot of quotes from him, and they're amazing. His quote on them in Russia was, like everybody else, we were struggling but happy. Is that the most Russian comment
Sounds
ever?
about right, yeah.
It's so like, we were okay with it, though. It was, we lived on potato skins. And
we stitched our own clothes back together, but it was fine.
Yeah.
We had our clothes.
So they moved to Australia when he's 8 years old. When little Ange is 8 years old, they moved to Australia. He doesn't speak English. He speaks.
They save up enough bricklaying money to get to Australia.
Right.
That's a long trip.
They had family over there too.
Gotcha.
Apparently, there's a large Greek population in Australia.
All right.
I don't know how large, but a prominent. There's a bunch of them. A good group of Greek immigrants in Australia.
Hairy yogurt eating people.
A lot of hairy yogurt mixed in with sunburnt blonde people. We're Australia. We apologize because we are, as you might notice from other episodes, we don't know.
We are not very cultured.
We don't. Well, we're not cultured with other cultures, or really ours either. So we're not very cultured. But Australia, we really know shit about you guys. We know nothing. We've seen Mad Max. We know Paul Hogan. Outside of that, I don't know what you guys got going on.
Your two most famous people in America both have the word crocodile in their name.
Yeah.
And one of them carries a big knife, and the other one was stabbed to death
by an animal.
Right.
Not a
That's all we know about Australia.
We don't know a lot.
Right.
We do know. I saw this documentary once on this small town in Australia that was like in the middle of the outback. Because Australia is pretty much like Arizona. It's just a big Arizona with coasts on the side, around it. It's an island.
Right.
So around it, it's like beautiful around the edges, and then the middle is a fucking wasteland, and hence Mad Max.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the middle is just a wasteland, and these people live in the wasteland.
Oh, Christ.
And it's literally the end of a railroad track is in the town. Like it's just you're just there to die, and it looked like the most depressing place in the world. And these people just called each other cunts constantly, and it was pretty amusing to watch. So that's Australia in my mind. So we're gonna try not to savage your culture too badly.
We'll do our best.
He learns English pretty quickly. He goes to Thornbury High. I don't know where the hell that is, but he went to Thornbury High. It's in Australia.
Sounds
he
British.
became an excellent student, actually. Well, Australia is
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So he became an excellent student, actually. They were very impressed with him. They say he's a good footballer. Now, I don't know what that means in Australia because obviously if we're talking about UK, that means soccer. But in Australia, they also have Australian rules football. So I don't know if
That's rugby,
they mean
right?
that. Sort of.
Right.
They're different. Jesus Christ. Sorry, guys, if we're slaughtering this. I just remember watching Australian rules football on ESPN when I was a kid, and there'd be a guy in a white suit, like a suit, like a formal suit.
Right.
No, like he was Tom Wolfe or something, and is like at a white suit and at like a white fedora, And when the score would happen, he just put his hand up in the air once, and I think he was smoking cigarettes at the time.
I think the most interesting man in the world is the ref.
Yeah, they'd stand perfectly still like statues at the end, and then they put their fingers up like goal, and then or touchdown or field goal or whatever the fuck it is. I don't even know. I watched hours of that shit, never figured out a rule.
Points
not
you,
one.
right?
So I think it's just madness. Either way, he's the captain of multiple sports teams. Wow. So I mean, he's a charismatic guy. Yeah. He's a smart guy. He's a good,
Had a rough upbringing, but his parents were around.
His parents were around.
Yeah.
I mean, they're Greek-Russian immigrants.
Yeah.
His father's, been in countless wars.
Yeah.
He's slit God knows how many
man.
throats of the right wing. Yeah. Who the hell knows?
Picture a man with lots of calluses.
Yeah.
On like his forearms, too.
Everywhere. Just a callous. Picture a calloused forehead.
Right. He's just an angry callus. That's what he is.
My father was an angry callus when I grew up. So here's a quote from his brother, who we're going to get so many quotes from, and I love this man, and I feel for him. His brother says about him, he's doing great, and all of a sudden in high school, this happens. He says, quote, but he didn't want to go to school no more. He wanted to move to technical school. It was disappointing to the family. We said, you've got more options in life if you get an education. You try to put him on the right track, but how much can you tell him? He'd agree with you, he'd understand what you were talking about, but the minute he'd walk out that door, see somebody else, he'd forget the whole conversation. This is this guy.
Just a hard-headed man.
No, he's just like... He just
forget the whole conversation. It's just in one ear and out the other.
Yeah, well, he's got this thing. There's an ego there where he wants to be a big shot. Yeah. And he wants to be a tough guy, and he's very easily led. And a lot of people say this about him, that he's very easily led.
But he's set in his ways.
No, he probably agreed with his brother. It seems like at the time he's like, yeah, you're right. No, you're totally right. I don't know what I'm thinking. But then when he walked out the door and did something else, he'd be like, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I was going to go to the other school. I don't care. So it's just in one ear and out the other with this guy. He's just thick. So he leaves Thornbury. He goes to Richmond Tech for a year, where he was an apprentice motor mechanic, which that's not what you want to do with the rest of your life, probably at 16. After a year of that school, he moves to a sheet metal company. Sheet metal and electrical. He does sheet metal work for an electrical engineering company that makes custom switchboards. So he's doing that. He's apparently making decent money.
Doing union work.
He's doing blue collar work here, making good money. Loved boxing though. Was super into boxing, and this is when we get into the boxing. Right away, he's a badass. I mean, he's really good. He gets in at age 15 in 1983. It's when he started dabbling.
Yeah.
By the time he was working in the sheet metal factory and
was
everything.
Was he in a weight class at all? Did they
He's
say?
a middleweight.
Middleweight.
He's a middleweight, and we'll get to that later on, too, with his kickbox, because he's kickboxing at the time. By 16, he's winning kickboxing titles already. And he wasn't even that experienced, but he was
middleweight is right around 160?
I think middleweight in boxing is like, 167, I think, something like that. Right. So I don't know what it is in kickboxing, but in the ballpark of that, He's considered a natural by everybody that sees him. He's really aggressive.
Yeah.
He's got an aggressive, hard-headed style, and he can take a punch.
Solid and athletic.
A great left hook, everybody says, and just very aggressive, which is what you want. At 16 years old, his brother, same brother who we hear countless, takes him to a man named Paul Fieri's house.
Uh-oh.
Paul Fieri is our ding, 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 our silver-haired, middle-aged white man of the week, folks. He is the silverest, middle-aged, whitest man you can get.
I'm going to assume no relation to Guy.
I sure as hell hope not. He looks like an old Italian guy sitting there, basically, in the interviews I saw with him.
I'm going to take you to Yumtown.
But he's... he goes there, and this guy is he's got a great gym. It's a big gym in his house type of thing, and his brother had been working as a corner man, and he boxed a little too. But Fieri took immediate notice of Ange's talent right away, Angela's talent. Fieri said of him, quote, he was quite relaxed, which is something you have to have. It's just born in you. Just relaxed, and he threw his punches nicely. He could take punches without getting upset about it. You could see he had a style about it.
All right.
That's a big compliment
patient.
from an old boxing man. You can see he had a style about him. He went in there, he knew what he was doing.
He'll take one to the chin because he's going to find an opportunity for himself.
He's aggressive, and he's willing to take a punch to give a punch, which is a huge deal.
He's no bum.
He's no bum, this guy. He's not. I could just, this guy, oh God, it's amazing. So his brother also says he was a good technician, real good with his hands, technically
Seems like
sound.
everything he did, he was good at.
That's the thing. He is. He's smart. He's talented.
Yeah.
This is such potential that never.
He's good at everything.
He's good at everything except a few things later on that we get into. Unfortunately for him, it turned out to be the most important things that he could have been good at for his future freedom that he was not very good at.
Not good enough.
So he said that, Fieri worked with him a lot on the technical skills, wanted him to be technical sound, but his brother would advise him to not leave it in the hands of the ref.
Yeah.
Get the knockout, basically. And this guy was
Lay him down.
more than happy to oblige with that because he's aggressive as shit. He wins his first 4 amateur fights by knockout.
All right.
And quick, too, within,
Is there anything of him on YouTube? I want to watch
Not really, no.
God damn it.
He got a nice write-up in a paper called the North Coat Leader.
All right.
Fieri, when they interviewed Fieri years later, he still had the article up on his wall about one of his up-and-coming, students. Unfortunately, he was in prison by then, but,
It's always after the fact that they get the fluff piece.
It's true, man. So he keeps going. 1987, he wins the inaugural Lionel Rose Shield tournament, which Lionel Rose is an Australian boxer.
All right.
Great acclaim.
It's a big deal. It's like the Cy Young.
No, it's just I think it's like an up-and-coming, but it's like a Golden Gloves tournament,
all right.
I feel like. That's what the equivalent that I got out of it was, a Golden Gloves type of thing. He was a contender to make the 88 Summer Olympic team that went to Seoul.
Wow.
He was actually on the squad, but didn't actually make the team. He won all 3 of his Olympic trial
Seoul
fights.
was 88?
Seoul was 88.
Okay.
88 Seoul Olympics. He won all 3 of his trial fights by KO in the first round, too.
This is the year before the Dream, or the Olympics before the Dream Team in Barcelona?
In Barcelona,
Gotcha.
92.
Okay.
Exactly. Dream Team guys, Australian people, or anybody else might not know. That's when we decided to let our professional basketball players from America
So we unleashed the best team that's ever been assembled.
just go and dunk on a bunch of tiny Lithuanian dudes and, people
and
like,
Asian
Jesus.
guys staring up at Karl Malone's balls.
Where do they get 6'11" black guys from is what everybody was saying. Jesus
400 years of breeding,
Holy
that's what it is.
Shit. Wow.
Holy shit.
We scared the shit out of the rest of the world. He basically, he was a badass. He was doing so well, but he also noticed things when he was boxing. And this is a thing that keeps coming up with a lot of these boxers is they start to notice the people that hang around the boxing and the people who watch the fights, and especially
Those people
bet on the
historically are
fights.
shitbags.
Shitbags. And I feel like from the way this is, it sounds like their boxing at the time in Australia was very similar to ours in like the 1940s, like Raging Bull, Jake LaMotta, era.
There was a little Italian guy.
Yeah, there was which one?
The little
Rocky
Italian guy.
Marciano.
That's the
Jake,
one.
Yeah, the champion.
Yeah.
Right, the heavyweight champ. But it seems like it was like a dirty lot of gangsters hanging around.
Yeah.
And a lot of these fighters were taken in by that because they're struggling guys.
And they got a lot of money.
They're making $200 a fight. These guys are sitting here with
making $200 while you fight.
$30,000 watches on, and they're like, Jesus Christ, I'm getting my face beat in here. What's going on?
And there's a bunch of moonshine being run in the Virginia hills, and those guys just got paid for it.
So his brother says, this is a quote he said to him, his brother recalling a quote, he said, "Boxing is a mug's game." Now, I assume mugs means a gangster. I think that's what that means based on other things I read. Boxing is a mug's game. You come across a lot of different people, so be careful. Don't get suckered in by somebody who's got a big name as a criminal or a tough guy or whatever. He said he told his brother that because he knew his brother was impressionable like that.
How about just throw some fucking fists and go home?
That's,
you know what I mean? Throw hands and don't get involved. I mean, granted, it was years down the road, but fucking Don King showed everybody how you can ruin a boxer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can.
It's so easy.
You absolutely can ruin a
Just
guy.
throw hands, do you, and get the fuck out.
And one of the guys that he ruined is a guy that he compares himself to.
Fantastic.
Actually, here's a quote in their own words. Here it comes. Fire up the music. In their own words from Evangelos Goussis here about him as a boxer. Quote, "Some say I have a brawl type of style, like Mike Tyson, the American heavyweight champion. But my idols are Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Robinson. Paul is pushing me along. He says I should be looking into international fights soon." So, he's cocky, too. He's like, some people say I'm like Mike Tyson, but I think I'm Marvin Hagler.
I'm more of a Sugar Ray.
I'm more like not even Leonard Robinson, the really bad motherfucker from the 40s, So, he was really, really high on himself.
Real proud of himself.
And a lot of them were. A lot of them were. This is what his brother, another quote from his brother. His brother said, quote, "He could have been, if not a world champion, raiding around there, number 2 or 3. He could have been there with a big name, a good life. He could have had something to be proud of.
Could have been fighting at the MGM, contending for the title.
He could have just he had something, he had it, but he's very distracted.
Yeah.
He's like a 9-year-old kid with a little touch of the ADD, where no matter how much they're into something, if they see something out of the corner of their eye, they have to go investigate. Yeah, what is that over there? You know the kid in Little League who was like looking at like bugs and like flowers in the outfield and shit? He couldn't focus for 4 minutes.
Or on the run, he's like, is that a quarter? Is that a quarter?
On the bases sometimes they zone out. That's what this guy reminds me of as an
staring
adult.
at the stitching on his glove.
Yeah, just do. I could take it apart.
The ball drops next to I could take it apart.
I could take this string out and just pull it apart. That's what it seems like, though, with this guy. He's like a distracted child. And by 1987, both his brother and Paul Fieri started seeing a change in him. They said that his heart wasn't 100% in the ring anymore. And they're like, what the hell is going on with this guy? He's got everything he can do. I mean, you think about the Olympic trials thing. I mean, that's a pretty good test. You're going to the Olympic trials. 3 first-round knockouts. He's beating the shit out of people.
He's the guy.
He's a bad man.
And all of a sudden he loses focus?
And he loses focus. Fieri said, quote, he was a nice guy, but he was easily led. And I think that was one of his problems. He got involved with the wrong crowd.
All right.
And this is where it starts, man.
He's easily led, except for when it comes to his family. Jesus, because they're trying to help him out. And he'll listen to anybody except for the people that are close to him.
And this boxing manager, his boxing trainer's trying to lead him in the right direction. And
There's something wrong with this guy already. There's a chemical imbalance.
He's got a silver-haired, middle-aged white gentleman just begging to help him, guiding him along. He's got his brother, who I don't think had silver hair quite yet, but he was not quite middle-aged.
Probably has it now.
Soon to be.
It sounds like his brother may have given it to him.
Oh, my goodness. So when this is when it all went downhill. Age 19, he stops working at the sheet metal factory to take a job as a bouncer through some people that he knew in the boxing world that he found. Some of these...
He's the equivalent of like the guy that like is good at something, but he like keeps his shit job, and then all of a sudden somebody throws him a pair of white Oakleys, and all of a sudden he's just a douche. He's just an idiot.
He became a bouncer in Dandenong.
Yeah.
I guess is the name of the town. His brother said that the nightclub was a huge drug spot, huge like organized crime spot. You know, it was a...
He's already fallen in.
He's fallen into it. He's 19, which I mean, a lot of 19-year-old kids are impressionable.
They want to be a badass.
When you see money like that, think about it. This guy came from...
Hard scrabble.
This guy came from Uzbekistan. Do you understand what Uzbekistan...
This guy came from bricklaying money.
Do you understand what Uzbekistan is now? Uzbekistan is where we take people that we think are terrorists to like boil their nutsack in a fucking vat of oil. That's where we take them to do that.
It ends with Stan. It's not a nice place.
It's not good. It's bad.
It's not a fucking destination.
He's from there when it's just a communist Russian country also. And like you said, his dad's a bricklayer who was in several different armies, World War II, then a Greek Civil War, then the Russian army too. I mean, this guy is he's seen depression. He's seen shit. He's probably eaten burlap, this man. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he's seeing these guys with all this fancy shit, and I think he's going, wow, what am I doing? Even his brother and the boxing instructor and the boxing trainer there, those are good guys, but they don't have stuff like this. No. So I could see a 19-year-old impressionable kid being, I don't know, I wouldn't have done that when I was 19.
Why work my ass off to be at the level that my trainer is when I don't have to do shit and I can do what these guys do.
And I got to get my face beat in constantly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
These guys got diamond-encrusted watches.
Absolutely. I mean, his brother said the gangsters saw him in the ring and at the club, and they asked if he wanted to work for him because they saw him and he's a badass. We could use a tough guy.
Sure.
And in the ring, they want to be, it's just like with everything else. If they want to be like him, he wants to be like them.
Absolutely.
They're all jealous of each other. It's the same way actors all want to be athletes, and the athletes all wish they could be actors.
The drummer always wants to be the fucking lead singer.
That's and he was influenced by these people. His brother said, quote, he was influenced by maggots. So I thought that's a great quote. He becomes such an idiot that he brings a known gangster to his parents' anniversary party.
No.
His brother loses his shit, pulls him aside. He's like, who the fuck is this
Why
idiot?
do you have Two-Finger Tommy at our parents' house?
Who is this guy? And he's like, no, he's all right. He's like, no. I know. I can tell who people are, and this guy is not a nice...
Throws in the paper. His face is on the fucking cover.
So he gets deeper into this. January 88, Goussis is being an errand boy at this point for a large heroin dealing ring.
Like he's dropping off the heroin, or he's like roughing up people that owe him money?
He's like a message guy. Right. He's just a low-level shitbag. He's probably dropping money off for this or that. There was a dealer that was apparently ripping off the organization, a guy named Richard Bettany. And Goussis was instructed to pick him up and take him to this vacant house, which is never good. If you're if you're a heroin dealer and the people you're buying your heroin from pick you up and take you to any vacant building,
that's not Netflix and chill night.
You should worry at that point. There's a problem. They're not taking you to White Castle. No. There's no McDonald's at the end of this trip.
They're not picking up the new release.
Yeah, you're not going to the water park as a surprise. You're going. Bad things are going to happen.
You're going to lose a finger tonight.
This guy. So this guy ended up being stabbed a shitload.
Yeah.
Got stabbed up real good.
Wow.
And Goussis was tasked with mopping up the blood, apparently, in this whole
seeing if they can trust him.
So he didn't apparently... Now, I don't know if he was a participant in the murder or not. In this country, in America, if you pick a man up who's set to be murdered, take him to the place of the murder, and then clean up afterwards.
You're guilty.
You murdered. You're a murderer now. It doesn't matter whether you stabbed him or not. You're involved in that.
You don't even have to have touched the knife.
You're getting life with everybody else. Yeah. But apparently in Australia, they're a lot more forgiving and understanding, really. In August of 1989, Justice George Hampel said that Goussis only played a minor role in the attack. Oh, I only played a minor role in the
because he hit it with the mop and glow? Yeah, that's a pretty big fucking role.
It's a big role.
Yeah, he covered up the fucking murder.
He covered up a brutal stabbing.
Right.
That's a big chunk. Yeah. And like I said, in this country, that's considered a faux pas.
That's homicide.
A societal faux pas, we'll call it. But apparently, like I said, this judge didn't say that. He said he was only, quote, a mere messenger in the drug game. So he was taking he took it as he's a smart kid, up and comer. Yeah. He was just up for the Olympics last year. Right. I mean, so he's looking at him with taking some sympathy with the guy. Right. He said, quote, the judge sentenced him to 18 months, which was the minimum sentence he could receive for this.
That is very kind.
Yeah, it was attempted murder and all this shit. So judge said
the guy didn't die?
I don't think he died. No, I don't think he died. That's the thing. Judge said that he had, of Goussis, quote, excellent prospects of rehabilitation. This guy,
anything further that happens in this story, that judge absolutely has blood on his hands.
He's complicit in it.
That judge is a fucking idiot.
Put it this way, I would love to see this guy's stock portfolio because he is not a good...
I'd love to see how much egg is on his face later in life.
His fantasy football team probably sucks. He's just bad at judging things.
His wife fucking hates him. His kids loathe him. His wife's a giant fat woman.
Based on his piss-poor judgment, it's amazing that he's, a judge, which is really odd. You just wouldn't expect that, but... I don't know. That's how it works out sometimes. You know what I mean?
How do you get that job being that terrible of a judge?
I feel he has excellent
I feel like he was like a dog show judge, and then somebody was just like... He just filled out an application to be a justice. They're like, "What's your qualifications?" He's like, "I've been a judge before." They're like, "Okay, you're in."
Yeah, poodles.
They forgot to ask what he judged. That's all it is.
He knows poodles. It's fine.
He took the Pepsi challenge or some shit. I
do not believe this dog will piss on the floor. That's what, they were like, he's a good judge of character.
He's a great judge.
So during the trial, Goussis, this is another bad. It's just these little serendipitous things that happen where it's like, damn it, if only they didn't cross paths. It's one of those things. There's so many people throughout history where you just wish they didn't cross paths. Yeah. And this is one of them here. Right. He meets a man named Lewis Kane during the trial and befriends him. Lewis Kane will come up huge later.
Sounds terrible.
Lewis Kane was in court for kicking a man to death outside of a nightclub in September of 1988. So you can tell what kind of nice gentleman he was.
He invented kicking people to sleep.
He kicked them good. So he was a little kicky.
That's amazing.
That's his pal. And I'm going to say this as we get into the kind of gangland things here. This was covered a lot in Australia. So I'm not going to get into too much. I'm going to give, for people who know nothing about it, I'm going to give a basic structure of these were factions that were fighting. But I'm not going to get into, this isn't a Goussis. It's not about the entire syndicate.
Yeah.
They had a whole show in Australia called Underbelly that actually one of these trials delayed the release of because it was about
awesome.
this. It was basically Australian Sopranos, pretty much. And
was it real or was it like still actors?
No. It wasn't a documentary.
Okay.
No, it was a drama. But I think it was based on all of these.
Sure.
So anyway, so I'm not going to get into that. We're going to stick with him, and we're going to keep it to his role.
Okay.
And I'll get into anything in the syndicate if it's pertinent to Goussis' situation, rather than just because we could just go on for 3 days about a giant Australian underworld situation. So
far, I love this story.
It gets way crazier.
Right.
It gets so crazy. Nothing crazy's happened yet,
right.
but we're getting there.
Crazy enough.
Well, he did mop up blood.
He did help with a very serious assault.
He did, and this story is so crazy that as much as that's wild in my mind, that's like the pink flamingo out on the front lawn, and there's like an entire house full of craziness, and there's just one little lawn thing sitting out there in the yard. And that's all we've seen.
All right.
Because I'm telling you, man, this is one of those where I'm like, yeah, this guy sounds crazy. Let's get into this. And then I start doing research, and I'm like, oh, holy shit, there's more. Oh, there's organized crime.
Forever.
Holy shit, now there's this. I got to find out about this. It was like I was learning Portuguese with Bruno de Souza. So that's kind of where we are here. He gets released from prison. He does his 18 months. He gets released. He tells his brother he's on the straight and narrow. He's like, look, man, help me out. I want to get back into fighting. I don't want any part of this shit anymore.
No more stabbing folks. I'm done.
Exactly. I'm not going to clean up any more blood puddles unless I cause it with my fist in a sanctioned area. So he tells his brother that. His brother was disappointed in him, obviously, but he wanted to help him train again. He's a kid, so he's 20 years old at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, get him back on the straight and narrow. He's got potential. So he gets him into kickboxing again. I said, let's start out with kickboxing because it's, I guess, a little easier to kind of move up than boxing.
You just met a new guy that can teach you how to kick.
So, yeah. Lewis Kane teaching him lots about kicking. He wins his first 5 kickboxing fights quickly, just boom, boom, boom. Within 5 fights, he won the Australian, South Pacific, and World Kickboxing Association middleweight titles.
How about that?
Knocking the shit out of people. So he's a badass dude.
That's great.
The president of this is great because there's an associate. He has a title for this association called the International Sports Karate Association. Which sounds like some shit like a bunch of 9-year-olds would make up.
Yeah.
Like, this is the International Sports Karate Association, and we're going to fight it out. Like, that's... So, anyway, the president of this organization, Dr. Peter Lewis, he's a doctor, this guy. He has a ridiculous, silly-sounding organization. Said, quote, if he had a weakness, it was that he was too happy to try to please people. Oh. And that's the thing about him.
That's kind.
And it keeps coming back.
That's very nice.
Yeah. So we get into like 1994. He loses his International Sport Karate Association title. Jesus, it's not even...
Sounds like it sounds like a character in the Ninja Turtles.
It does.
They're just like, this is so-and-so from the whatever the fucking Mickey Mouse that name is.
It's so silly. It sounds like some shit kids made up. It's so ridiculous.
Sounds like something that Casey Jones was in. You know what I mean?
He came on board from there. So he loses his title to a guy named Sam Solomon, who was only in his 6th fight. This guy.
Oh, boy.
But apparently this was a bloody battle. Like,
really?
Both of them got their eardrums
Rupture?
burst from each other. They apparently both went down several times, and they just beat the shit out of each other.
See that fight.
And they both survived it to a decision. That's what's awesome too. They're both tough, and he lost the decision. Goussis did.
Just beaten ragged.
They were both beating each other silly. He goes back to boxing after this. I guess.
I'm done kicking people.
Yeah, I guess he said I got all I could out of that. Goes back to boxing, only has 3 fights, and they're spread out weirdly, too. In March of 95, he wins a TKO. Then 2 weeks later, he fights again, which is like, Jesus Christ. To a draw. He fights somebody to a draw. Then doesn't have his next fight until October of 97, where he has a first-round knockout of somebody. Knocks somebody out within like 30 seconds. So
he trained like a motherfucker, apparently.
It's
eating
so
raw
odd.
eggs and chasing chickens for a while, and all of a sudden he can fight now.
Yeah, but after that, shocker with all of our people, can't stay on track.
No.
These people, it's the same story. You notice that every single time it's they just can't stay on track.
Just can't figure it out.
They can't figure it
Can't
out.
just stay in the lane.
And he had the potential. That's what's so sad. 97, he starts drifting off again.
All right.
And doing his own thing.
Been fighting for 10 years now.
Yeah, I mean, he's an adult now. He needs to get his shit together and stop acting like a fucking jerk.
Is he 26 at this point?
Yeah, shit. We're talking 97, so he's 30. He was born in 67.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
30 years old now. That career is dwindling.
Stop. Yeah, exactly. Get your head in the game,
Twilight,
or take a hike at this point, because that's when
you aren't fighting at 38.
No, that's if you're. No, that's what I mean.
No.
If you're an amazing fighter, 30 might be your prime.
Yeah,
otherwise,
that's it. You got a few years
it's downhill from there.
You got 3 years to make money.
34, 35.
Yeah.
Everybody's hand speed goes down a little bit. It just happens.
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather's wasn't as fast as it used to be. It's just the way it is. His brother said of him, quote, "Here it comes again. Big nose in the air, big head, slowly started drifting away, running off. 1 minute he's a good, brilliant kid. Next he's off. Next he turns up with another one of these maggots."
Oh, God.
So I mean,
love that he calls them all maggots.
Maggots. His brother has no patience for his bullshit.
He's got no patience for maggots.
For maggots. And here comes the maggots too.
Oh, boy.
And he starts hanging out with the gangsters, and this is nothing new. There's a lot of boxers. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
He started hanging out with a guy named. This is fantastic. This is a great name. Not the best name in this story. We'll get to the best name in this story because it's better than Gorilla Pimp. Better than Gorilla Pimp, my friend.
Wait.
Put it that way. Robert Rozier, the Gorilla Pimp, by the way. I think it was episode 12 or something. 11.
Self-proclaimed. He called himself that.
That was his nickname for himself.
Yeah.
This guy is a better nickname for himself and a better backstory to it. It's fucking amazing, this other guy. But this particular guy that he starts hanging out with, that Goussis begins to hang out with, is named Nick the Bulgarian Radev. The Bulgarian. And he speaks,
that's what he goes by.
And he only speaks Russian and a touch of Greek, but he's the Bulgarian.
I like it.
It's like The Wire, where the guy is the Greek, but he's not the Greek. It's like
I'm into it.
Yeah. So he was described as, quote, "a drug dealer and a firebomber with a taste for Versace."
Holy shit!
What a fucking dashing!
Yeah,
isn't that just a dashing,
he's
debonair
terrifying.
Gentleman? Yeah, he's like Humphrey
like
Bogart. This guy
carrying a flamethrower.
Yeah, he's with a taste for Versace. I picture him throwing his firebombs while dressed impeccably, just perfectly.
He throws a Molotov cocktail and fixes his collar and his fucking and his tie.
That's better.
And then makes his pocket square
and
just
gets
so.
his cufflinks right. It messed him up from throwing that firebomb. He brings Ange into the fold here. We'll call him Ange or Goussis. I'm not going to call him Evangelos.
Go with Ange. It's so much easier.
Ange is what his family called him, but I call him Goussis, whatever. So we'll get into this. He tells him that, you hang around with me, you be my muscle, or you be all set. It sounded like he was like his gay sugar daddy this whole time too. But he was just, he saw an impressionable guy. At this point, he's 30, but he's still impressionable apparently. He tells him that he can set him up with a fancy gym. He's going to set him up with a gym.
Sounds good to me already.
Quote, sponsored by Versace.
I'm in.
So, who wouldn't jump at the opportunity?
Lots of red and green in that place.
Unbelievable. He was his bodyguard, his muscle man. He was always like standing one step behind him. He was that guy.
Yeah.
By 2001, he's living with the Bulgarian in his fancy apartment. He's got a real sweet fancy pad. This dude's loaded. This dude is into $50 cigars and $400 bottles of cognac and drives a Mercedes has a big fat diamond encrusted watch.
That's a guy that does bad shit.
He does bad shit. And he's a fucking Russian gangster.
You never see a guy that has those flavors.
No.
And he's like legit. He's straight.
He will firebomb for whatever he needs.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's not a businessman. That's a fucking murderer.
And his brother said that Ange liked the high roller lifestyle. He was into that. Like he saw him with the guy. And he said he was proud to be a muscle man.
Yeah.
He was proud to not be the delivery guy. Yeah. He said that's how gullible Ange was. He was doing it more for pride than money.
Of course.
Just to look cool and to feel good about himself.
Yeah. Well,
does that come from being an immigrant that came in when you're 8 and not speaking the language and feeling, I don't know what the psychology
feeling inadequate,
is.
And then you see those guys and they're like, you're our guy, and you're just like, fucking I'm your guy.
You feel like a big shot. Yeah. But I mean, he did it in legit ways too. He was captain of the sports teams. I mean, he had shit to build his self-esteem. He didn't need to be told he was cool by some guy named the Bulgarian.
I feel like so many nights of sleeping cold will force you to just want to do whatever it takes, and if that's running with dudes that are dickheads and
I guess, man,
terrible people, anything to keep you from laying bricks and seeing.
Maybe that's it. Maybe
seeing
he
what his
saw what
father's
his dad was.
He's just like, I don't want to be what my dad ended up being.
Hunched over from bricklaying.
Yeah, he's got bad hips,
slitting fucking Nazi throats, and he's like, you know what? I need a better and easier life.
Yeah.
And he sees these guys,
and
they do.
The cold makes calluses crack, and they hurt.
And to be a muscle man, to go, crack some heads around, or to just look imposing to this guy, the hell does he care? He fights professional fighters.
Right.
If some schlub wants to try to jump his boss, he'll happily kick the shit out of him. He doesn't care. That's what he does.
And they can buy him a shitload of lotion. He'll never have calluses, and they'll never crack in the cold.
These two,
that shit stings.
Yeah, these two took a lovely little vacation together. I picture them taking pictures with like a tiny dog and like their desserts and stuff. Like, this is a total gay sugar daddy.
Yeah.
Took him to Israel with him in 2002.
Wow.
Yeah, nice little vacation. People go there. They have nice beaches in Israel, actually.
I've never heard of anybody going there for vacation unless they were incredibly rich or very Jewish.
I'm from New York. I know a lot of Jewish
people.
A lot
of Jews go there for fun.
To the beaches of Israel. It's like, okay, well, just keep, head on a swivel. That's all.
Yeah.
Head on a swivel, guys.
Stay away from that strip.
This particular, the Bulgarian tried to enlist Ange in a plot to kill a guy named Mickey Gatto. Now, Mickey Gatto is going to come up a lot. Mickey Gatto is one of the top guys in New York. There's Mickey Gatto. There's Carl Williams, not to be confused with the '80s boxer Carl the Truth Williams. And Mike Tyson knocked the shit out of him.
Gatto
like
sounds
89.
like a consigliere that like runs the fucking garment district.
There's a bunch of these guys. At this point, that doesn't work out. Actually, it's from what I hear, Goussis talked him out of it because he was like, "You're out of your fucking mind." They're both doing a ton of coke and other amphetamines and shit, and this is all coke fuel. All this shit you do. Stop doing insane amounts of coke.
Stop jamming shit in your nose,
guys. Moderation. I'm not saying that you should never do coke.
Key bumps to get you through the day.
I can't do any kind of uppers because you guys can tell I'm fucking amped up anyway. I don't need any uppers at all. I need none of that shit. I'll lose my goddamn mind. But some people, if you need a little bump now and then, go for it.
Do it.
But not in large quantities, guys. Scarface
haven't you seen Scarface? It ends terribly.
It's not a documentary that's like, a happy thing that you should strive for, is what I'm getting at. And that's what these people do.
It ends horribly.
Horribly, as John Mulaney said. Have you seen the end of that? It ends terribly.
That's right.
We have to shout out that. That's a great joke.
That is a good joke. I remember that.
Find John Mulaney and listen to him. He's a great comedian. Anyway, so he tries to enlist Ange in this plot. He talks him out of it.
Sorry.
So Goose is hooked on cocaine's, amphetamines. At this point, he attempts suicide. Low point for Goussis here. You would think, but no.
You'd think that would make him think that maybe I've got some things to live for if I didn't do it. Turn around, go back the other way.
No.
But instead, he just continues on the shit path.
It's almost like this fortified him.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm on the right path. I didn't die.
How did he do it?
It doesn't. There's
no. Say?
But he had to stay in the hospital for a while.
I'm guessing it was some sort of opening a vein of
something. It's
like gotta
that.
Be
with
something.
Men usually shoot themselves. Women take pills. That's just the statistics of suicide. Because
men also hang themselves.
Violent. We also hang themselves, and he's a violent guy that wasn't afraid to take a shot in the face, so who the fuck knows what he did. He could have been one of those guys that tried to jam a knife into his chest.
Right.
You know how crazy people just, they try to do it sometimes, and it gets stuck in their chest plate.
Artie Lang did it 9 fucking times, jammed himself in the fucking chest.
I mean, this guy might be a guy like that, I don't know, but he's in the hospital for a while. By the time he gets out of the hospital, goes to find the Bulgarian, he's dead. Bulgarian was hit, shot 7 times.
Oh my God.
Shocking, isn't it? You would imagine a guy like that would have nothing but friends and good well-wishers from around.
Live a very happy life.
Live a very happy life with lots of well-wishers from around everywhere. You would think, but no. Apparently not. So this is when fighting starts breaking out with these gang factions a lot, okay? There's...
when somebody gets hit, other people retaliate.
Exactly. Right. There's the Carlton crew, which they're from Carlton, I guess, which is a nearby, like a suburb of Melbourne. With Mick Gatto and this Moran fella here that we're going to get into also. And the other faction was Carl the Truth Williams, as we're going to call him, who he looks nothing. Carl Williams looks like he kind of looks like Cher's daughter, Chastity Bono.
Oh my God.
Kind of looks like that, like an androgynous.
Looks like Chaz.
Now. Kind of looks like
like Chastity now.
Kind of looks like an androgynous. Yeah, like did that guy have a sex change? That used to be a chick. Like that's kind of what he looks like. He's kind of a portly. So he's not Carl the Truth Williams, who was like a 6'3", 230-pound black guy with a left hook. And Tony Mockbell, and the Mockbell is a character, man. This Mockbell I read a lot about. He gets away with shit. I don't know this for a fact, but it really seems like your justice system is seriously corrupt over there, Australia. Like it seems like if you're a gangster with money, you can like
get through.
It's very much like you're watching The Godfather. Like it's like over there seems like it's the 40s here.
Yeah,
like they're like I don't know what it is.
It's America pre the RICO laws.
It's America pre like the FBI coming into effect, which is odd because they have task force and police, but it's like that's what it is though. It's like when they still denied organized crime and they ran all the rackets. That's what it's like there, it seems like, because this guy gets away with literally murder, Tony Mockbell, numerous times, where it's like, people are like, yeah, no, he paid me to kill him, and it doesn't matter. He's not guilty, and he walks. It's amazing.
Unbelievable.
Well, I mean, Gotti paid off jurors. This guy, who knows? So, anyway.
Intimidation, too.
So, Goussis needs a new guy here.
Yeah.
He needs a new...
He's a wandering. He's a free agent.
Yeah, he needs a new guy to latch onto. He's walking around. He's like a butler with nobody to buddle at this point. He's like, what am I doing?
Nobody to buddle.
Nobody to buddle. He's like, I didn't want to get somebody their slippers in the morning paper, and breakfast in bed, anybody?
I'm very good at coffee.
Please?
I'm so good at it. I'll squeeze oranges.
I'll kick somebody to death. I got that going
kick
for me.
Somebody to sleep.
So Goussis at this part...
I'm a hell of a mopper.
Hell of a mopper. And speaking of people kicking people to death, this is when he finds his new guy to hang out with, and it's Louis Kane, the man he met in '88 in that serendipitous little meeting. All this stuff comes back, doesn't it?
Is it Louis Kane?
It's Louis Kane.
Louis Kane.
Now,
Louis Skechers Kane.
Keep in mind, by the way, this is 2004, but before this happened, there was a little incident with a little incident that's not going to come back till later, but there's a trial. Okay, separate timeline, guys. We're now in 2003. Flashback to June of 2003. There is, and it's parallel, but it's going to connect. Don't worry. There is a man named, Shane Chartres Abbott. Okay, better known as the greatest fucking nickname in the history of sports crime. Better known as, quote, the Vampire Gigolo.
That is better than Gorilla Pimp.
It's better than Gorilla
fantastic.
Pimp. The Vampire Gigolo would eat the Gorilla Pimp, I think. Like,
how the hell did he get that name? Does he like only sell himself when chicks are on their fucking period or something?
Well, he's a male prostitute, the Vampire Gigolo by his name, obviously. He's a self-professed Vampire Gigolo. He almost kills a girl, okay? Almost kills a girl within an inch of her life. A woman named Penny, who was a Thai stripper.
Wow.
That paid the Vampire Gigolo for sex, okay?
Wow.
He brutally rapes her, beats her, tortures her, burns her.
She asked for it.
Bites.
She actually paid for it.
Bites half of her tongue off.
Holy shit.
So he is not fucking around. Bites half of her tongue off. And then he says in court, when he's on trial for this, now he, by the way, gets out on bail for this. While the trial's going on, he's out on the street, this guy. He, quote, at the trial, claimed that he was a male prostitute that claimed to be a 200-year-old, that was claiming to be a 200-year-old vampire. At trial. In court, under oath, he said, I'm a 200-year-old vampire who's now a male prostitute. So, back up, mister.
And he got off?
No.
Okay.
He didn't get off because he was on trial
You do that, you pull that shit in America, you go to the loony bin right now.
Yeah. It's interesting. He should have killed this girl, probably.
Yeah.
Because he didn't kill this girl. He left her alive, and her boyfriend, or one of the boyfriends that she had, was a bad motherfucker and was a little upset about this. A guy named Mark Perry, who was a local heroin dealer and a bit of a badass.
Yeah.
He took exception, obviously, to his girlfriend.
She can't lick my balls anymore. You took her tongue.
You'd have to get in pretty deep in her mouth for that, because half her tongue's fucking gone. I assume she just had a terrible lisp at that point going on.
The poor thing.
So
and all she wanted was some oral.
All she wanted was a little something.
All she wanted was this dude to lick her. So, and he fucking tore her apart.
It is horrific. So this Mark Perry guy is childhood friends with a man named Warren Thomas Shea. And he is now a big time in the organized crime game. So he gets a hold of him, gets them together, and he says, hey, this is what they did to my girlfriend, describes it.
200-year-old fuck. Shit. I ain't scared of anybody 200 fucking years old.
Yeah, they were like, I ain't scared of no vampire. So
his hips are brittle by now.
He's not scared of this vampire, so they put together...
By the way, I just said a scared. That's ridiculous.
You're not a scared.
I'm not a scared.
Peter Griffin over here. Right. So he... puts together this hit squad to kill this guy, claims that Goussis is also involved in this hit squad.
Okay.
Perry, this hit squad happens. He is murdered in 2003 outside of his home, the Vampire Gigolo.
Yeah.
Vampire Gigolo...
Oh, he doesn't last long in our story.
He doesn't last long in our story, but he'll come back later. The Vampire Gigolo will come back. Okay, he's a vampire. He's not going to stay dead. But he'll come back big time later on in a really funny way, so stay tuned for that. But he actually... Vampire Gigolo had like a girlfriend that was pregnant at the time. They had a nice little home together.
Oh, shit.
So the Vampire Gigolo was really living a split life here. And she knew he was a prostitute, and that was what he did. And, you know...
Did she know he was 200 years old?
I believe she did.
That's great. He didn't have low T at that point in his life.
No, she had his 200-year-old seed growing inside of her like a fucking chia pet. So... they get together and they gun him down. We don't know exactly who. He's gunned down in front of his home while his girlfriend's standing there.
Wow.
Two men come out, fire on him. He's hit in the neck, falls. She runs in the house, calls the cops, gets a towel, runs out. They peel off the whole thing. She's obviously flipping out about it. They're wearing ski masks, which keep coming back again and again.
All right.
And they keep calling them, in all the articles, they call it baklava. Is a ski mask?
Yeah, it's a balaclava.
I had no idea what the fuck that
all
was.
All it is the eyes are showing.
Yeah, I had to look that
up. And all that
and
shit.
I'm like, just say ski mask,
all right,
you fucking idiots.
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
Just say it's a fucking ski mask.
It's a ski mask without the mouth and nose hole.
Yeah. So, this is a disaster. He's all shot up, and this'll come back. So we get into this other thing here now. This is where we go back to the Goussis timeline.
In 2004.
In 2004.
Okay.
Exactly. We're
so
back
we had a flashback. Somebody's tongue got bitten off. Vampire goes to court for
Vampire Gigolo.
Right, he's out on bail, and
murdered.
He's fucking dead.
He's murdered by a hit squad.
Right.
Who, at this point, it sits stagnant.
Yeah.
We don't know shit about it.
Cold case.
What a fucking...
Moving forward.
What a mystery, right? Okay.
That's like the start of a Law and Order
episode. It is. We laid it out. We laid it out.
Wolf.
Dick Wolf. And now Dick Wolf has said his thing. So now, things are going a little odd with Kane. Kane's an asshole, basically. This is the guy who kicked the guy in the night. So, Louis Kane's an asshole. I don't know why Goussis does this. He invites his brother out to dinner with him and Kane.
Why does he keep bringing around the family with the fuckheads?
He wants to show off to his brother that, look, I'm successful, look, I'm doing good. But he knows his brother just going to go, why are you doing this, you jerk?
You're wrong about this. Look, this shit life is going to help us.
Yeah, so his brother, after the dinner and all this, he says of Kane, quote, I met the guy for 5 minutes and he's telling me his life story, that he's a heavy criminal. I asked Ange, I don't know how many times, are you threatened by him? Do you need help? But it was, no, he's a good guy. So he kept saying that Kane was a good guy. His brother, after a little while after this, as we're getting into, his brother didn't speak to him for about 3 years.
At this point, Ange is qualified to be a judge in fucking Australia, too.
He's
a terrible fucking judge.
Yeah, well, at least he knows he's a jerk-off. Well, he tells him here, he stops talking to him, and he said that in his final conversation with him, he told Ange, quote, you're not a kid anymore. If you can't register upstairs what's good for you and what's not, what can I do for you? I can't help you out anymore.
So his brother cut the ties
his brother
with him.
Said, you're a jerk-off, you're hanging out with criminals, I don't know what the fuck
Enjoy
to tell
your
you.
life.
Yeah. So in 2004, Goussis and a guy named Keith Faure, I don't know how you, Faure, they go to Melbourne to Carlton to meet Kane at a hotel. Kane is looking for some shooters to do a hit for him, and so they arrange this meeting, and they're going to try to get some shit worked out.
Right?
Yeah. So Faure here and Goussis They go to meet him. They pick Kane up. They decide, let's not have the meeting here. Let's have it at this Greek restaurant.
Yeah.
So they get in the car. They go to this Greek restaurant. And apparently they did not make it to the Greek restaurant.
Uh-oh.
By the time they arrived wherever their destination was, Kane had been shot under his right eye.
Whoa.
Apparently they were driving in the car, Kane in the back seat of the car, Goussis and Forey in the front seat of the car. And there is...
Somebody fired into the rear seat.
Well, there's an obvious conflict here of what happened.
All right.
They are charged... When they're charged with this, Goussis...
Four and Goussis are...
Yeah, they are arrested. Okay. Goussis takes the blame, and he says it was self-defense. He said he heard a clicking from behind. He turned around and saw...
A pistol.
Kane had his gun out, and it was jammed, and so he shot him in the eye.
All right.
That was what was said at that point. But later on, they both changed their stories, and he says that Forey was the one that shot him, and he didn't even know why he shot him. He just shot him. He turned around and was like, whoa, what the fuck?
When stories change like that, somebody's guilty.
It's a lot of stories. Yeah, it's a lot. They're whatever. Yeah, it's a lot of shit here. So basically, this whole thing goes on with Kane. And, so they're convicted of this crime. Both of them are convicted of it. Didn't matter who shot who at this point. They don't give a shit.
They finally got some American justice.
They got some American justice, yeah. They're convicted of this crime. At that point, they get 20 years. Whoa. He gets 20 years. So
That's steep.
It's steep. So now he's going to prison for 20 years. And you think this is bad enough, right?
Yeah.
But it's not bad enough. Because 6 weeks after this shooting, because he's not arrested for this for about 8 months.
Okay.
6 weeks after this shooting, he's involved in another incident.
Oh, boy.
This is the one that really fucks him bad here. March 31st, 2004. Okay, 2004. This is the Brunswick Club, where this guy, Louis Moran. Everybody's
By the way,
Louis.
Australia, if there's something here called the Brunswick Club, it's a fucking bowling alley.
It's a bowling alley,
right.
yeah. Sorry, guys. This is apparently a cool joint. Apparently. This is where the gangsters are hanging out.
The Brunswick.
They have gambling. There's poker machines, stuff like that. This is where Louis Moran hang out. Louis Moran, if we found out from before, was one of the big-time gangsters.
Yes.
With Carl LaTruth Williams there.
Right.
He's his buddy. So, or no, I think Mock Bell was his buddy.
Right, Mock Bell, that's right.
Mock Bell was Carl LaTruth's brother, buddy, so this is the other guy. Okay. So, see what I mean about the gangster shit? It's hard to keep track of from another country and all this shit. So, and I don't want to confuse the listeners with it, honestly, because it doesn't have anything, it doesn't matter. What matters is Goussis' bullshit. So, this guy... ski mask clad gunman burst into the club, and there's a security video of this that the jurors got to see. They get near Moran. Moran sees them. Moran is also with a friend of his, Herbert Rout, who was by him drinking. He tells Rout, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
He takes off.
A couple of dudes in balaclavas.
Yeah,
I'm gone.
I'm gone because he's he knows that
I'm a bad dude.
I'm a bad dude. People might want to kill me. He runs toward the back of the club, knocks over the club manager on the way there. I mean, it's like a movie scene. You know, and some woman knocks her over, goes into the back poker machine
Lots
room.
of gin flying.
Yeah, and they're chasing him, and he runs out of space, goes in a corner, and kind of crouches down, and they shoot him twice.
Yeah.
They shoot him. And also, Forey, the guy from the other one, was with Goussis on this, apparently, also, on this hit. He takes a shot at the Rot guy, which will come in later, because they're going to get in trouble for that one, too. But yeah, so they're wearing the ski mask. They're back there. They're shooting him. There's an 8-week trial for this.
They take a shot at who there?
They take a shot in the back room at Moran. They kill him back there. They take a shot at Rot out by the bar.
Oh, the friend. Gotcha.
The friend, Rot. Okay. So the Moran trial lasts 8 weeks. It's in 2009. Now, this is the thing from both of these, from all of these killings, there's a particular informant. Now, in a book I read, they call him Bones all the time. They call him Jack Price is the moniker they give him in the media. They don't reveal his name.
Right. Okay, that's his fucking John Doe.
That's his John Doe.
Yeah.
They call him Bones in this book I read about it. They call him Bones. He's the informant guy, and he apparently is like the biggest lying shitbag on the face.
I love him.
Everything he says, he said a completely contradictory thing at another point on the record. Everything he says. So, I mean, everything he says you can take with a grain of salt, and this is literally the only evidence they have. They have a video with a guy with ski mask. You can't tell who they are. Yeah. They have this guy's testimony. That's it on these cases. And this is why I think it's a little shady.
And they rock him up on it.
So it's this getaway driver, and he claims he was the getaway driver. Now, first early on, he claims that he was the shooter in the ski mask on the video of Moran.
All right.
Then he says, no, I was the getaway driver. Goussis is the shooter. First he said Goussis was the getaway driver, then he said Goussis was the shooter.
What's his fucking problem?
He found it's a better deal for himself if he says he's a getaway, because he gets serious deals for this, and Goussis actually writes like a thesis on this later on from prison, detailing what he feels is the corruption and the special and all of this, and it's super interesting, guys, if you want to check that out.
Fascinating.
It's like a manifesto of how I got fucked by the government, and you read it and you go, this guy's a scumbag, and he wasn't on killing people, and he was mopping glowing blood up and everything, and he probably deserves to be in prison, but I don't think he deserves to be in prison for what he's in prison for. That's the problem. That's the issue. It's one of those where you're like,
you should have got him on the other shit.
Yeah, it would be like if you locked John Gotti up on something he didn't do. You're like, I know he did other shit.
Right.
It's so, anyway.
Locked him up on child abuse or some shit, and he's like, I mean, the racketeering was a little bigger.
It's exactly. It said Carl the Truth Williams paid $150,000 for this hit.
For Moran.
For the Moran hit. It's actually also said that he shorted them and only gave him $140,000.
What an asshole.
So, I mean,
what a fucking jerk.
You're shorting these fucking guys.
These guys went out of their way, charged into a packed fucking place, and cornered him and shot him. Even took a fucking an insurance shot at the guy's friend.
Just in case.
And you're going to short him, you cocksucker.
Cocksucker. So the lawyer said, obviously...
If you can't trust criminals, who can you trust?
Who can you trust, Jimmy, besides your murder conspirators, as long as they're not a teenager. Right. You don't want a teenager in your hit squad,
No teenagers in your fucking hit squad.
Crime in sports, rule number 2. So Goussis' lawyer said, obviously, the informant pointed the finger at Goussis to get his own sentence reduced, he's saying, clearly. They had both pled not guilty to this.
Yeah.
The trial delayed the Underbelly show that I mentioned earlier that was supposed to be on. They were not allowed to show that, a court sanction on showing that, because they said it would completely damage the pool.
You can't show something with actors in it that's fucking fake.
I don't even know. It might have been. I should have watched some of it.
Yeah.
I saw it online there, and I'm like, I don't need to see some recreation or whatever. I'm like, It'd
be like if
reading books, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
It'd be like if the O.J. Simpson trial, if the People versus O.J. was going on
while it was going on. Yeah.
And don't show that shit.
Yeah.
Why? What's the problem?
Goussis was said that he scoped out the club a whole bunch of times before. Like
sure
he was there, and he scoped it all out, and he denied any involvement at all. His defense lawyer, Stephen Sheriffs, said that Ange, this is the best excuse. My client, he was not murdering Louis Moran at that point. He couldn't have been, because at that time, he was visiting his sick mother.
Oh, boy.
So how dare you accuse him of murder? He was picture him sitting there with his sick mom. I picture him putting like a cold washcloth on her head and holding her hand,
boiling chicken soup,
holding her hand nice, just
spoon feeding her chicken soup. Just the broth, the broth, because she can't chew.
And he's going, Mom, is everything okay? Are you too hot? Can I get you a blanket?
Get you some water?
Another Afghan?
Would you like some ice chips?
Some ice chips. Can I get you anything?
Holy shit.
So apparently this was not bought by the...
it's the equivalent of my dog ate my homework.
Pretty much, yeah. He's convicted of murder in May of 2008.
Dingo ate my baby.
Given at least 30 years before he is eligible for parole. Not good.
30 years.
30 years
for
at
the
least.
Moran one.
And that's concurrent with the 20 years he's got. So basically he's eligible for parole, I think in 2039 was the...
Whoa.
So, I mean, that's brutal.
That's trouble.
Yeah, no parole possible till 30 years. So, I mean, he's got a minimum...
So you guys can write to him.
He can write to him. During sentencing, Justice Betty King said, quote, "This was a cold, calculated execution of a man for financial gain, which places the murder at the highest level of offenses of their type." Sir, you may fuck off, is what she said.
I feel like that justice was like, I'm going to right the wrong of that other justice. Yeah.
And he is saying how...
And they say fuck off over there a lot. I'll bet she said it.
Fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off to jail now. So
fuck off, cunt.
Yeah, and then she took out a Crocodile Dundee knife. That's the first time we've mentioned him, so fuck you, Ostrich. Sorry, but you know what? You fucking produce Paul Hogan and unleash him on the goddamn world, and we have to watch Lightning fucking Jack. I'll bring it up.
It's coming up.
So suck my fucking American dick,
and
fellas.
That's a knife.
Yeah, that's a knife. See, you know why I love Australia? Because they will like that I just yelled at them like that, because they're fucking awesome people with senses of humor, not uptight shitbags.
That crawl over people in the subway, apparently.
I love them.
Yeah.
I love it over there. So anyway.
To get to their love. Okay.
about the informant Bones, Goussis is rip-roaring fucking pissed about this,
Oh,
obviously. He says, in their own words, here we go, in their own words, quote, he has no compunction about lying. He doesn't care who he hurts. He will lie and do whatever he sees fit to do, whether it's robbing a bank or convincing some stooge to be his fall guy.
Wowza.
Yeah, because apparently...
he is fired up.
Yeah, because apparently, and we're going to go backtrack a little bit too, but yeah he's convicted for all of this. He's also convicted of he's acquitted of attempted murder for rot, but convicted of causing him great bodily injury on purpose. So it's like, but they didn't want to kill him.
Right.
They wanted to just gunshot graze him. Usually if you fire a gun at someone, that's a pretty good attempt. I wanted that motherfucker dead.
It's like the stabbing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just as vicious.
Yeah, so I mean...
firing a loaded weapon at somebody.
This whole thing... back to the Lewis Kane shooting here, which was his buddy, the kicker. His brother told him, this is a quote from his brother, he said, quote, after he got convicted, he told me Lewis Kane wasn't such a bad guy. A little airheaded, but the other guy just turned around and bang. I said, why'd you take the rap? And he just scratches his head. He's a fucking idiot or what?
I don't know. I'm not sure yet.
But he's
I'm still trying to figure that one out.
On one hand, he's saying the other guy did it, I don't know. And then the other hand, he's going, the gun jammed, it's self-defense.
Right.
They're both in the car. They're both intending on killing the guy.
And there's one dude dead.
Matter. There's a dead guy.
They both did it. Who cares?
Yeah. Foray here, the Foray guy said, quote, both Mr. Goussis and I are innocent. Without the quick action of Mr. Goussis, we would both be dead today.
He's praising him as a hero.
Yep, and then he turned police informer on him, flipped on him. First claimed he was he was involved in the Moran shooting also in the club, and he first said that he was the shooter, and then he blamed it on Goussis too. Jesus. So the two people have claimed it and then said, no, it wasn't me. So that's what I mean. Why I feel like there's some corruption.
And say what you mean.
Well, I feel like there's some corruption, and they're steering people toward.
Of course.
Because this informant, there is a lot of.
I feel like the government's like, remember that time we fucked up with him years and years ago?
Yeah.
Let's get everybody to say that he's a real shitbag.
That's honestly, I mean,
that's what it's coming down to.
It's funny too when he was arrested and charged with the murder of Lewis Kane, because he was arrested for that first in mid-May of 2004. He called his brother. First, Ange called his brother.
That's
he didn't
nice.
know who else to call.
Yeah.
He called his brother, and his brother talked to him.
Maybe you were right.
So, I love that. That's his first call. His brother was like, "You're going to kill our mother," basically. Thanks, asshole.
And you know he was dreading that fucking call.
Man.
He's like, he picks up that receiver. He's like, this is gonna fucking suck.
This is not gonna
I'd
be
rather
good
do
news.
30 years and never talk to him again than fucking call him.
He's gonna hate me for this.
Yeah.
This
is gonna be a really shitty.
This is gonna be the world's biggest "I told you so." Let me tell you something. If you heard a squeak, by the way, that is the Crime and Sports dog.
Yeah.
We just got a dog in the Crime and Sports studio. She's a cute puppy, and she's chewing on a squeaky toy. And we're gonna be posting pictures on social media of her thoughts of these scumbags. And we have a
thought bubbles
a
over
little funny little campaign for the Crime and Sports dog. So everybody say hello to Frankie, the Crime and Sports dog. Frankie. So Frankie Pantangeli, the Crime and Sports dog
that's
from Godfather.
awesome. Hell yeah.
So anyway, back to this here. I love when he's arrested too in 2004. They get ambushed by like a special operations force because they're like three hitmen.
Yeah.
The three guys get arrested, Goussis and two others, and they're like hitmen, and Goussis is like a badass that you don't really want to physically tangle with, probably. He'll kick your head open. So, yeah, this whole thing, Jesus Christ, this Jack Price, guys, it's a complete twat. Now, we get to this very, very interesting case of, remember the Vampire Gigolo?
Vampire Gigolo!
Let's get back to him, guys. Vampire Gigolo is back in effect,
the guy that
guys.
didn't make it to his 201st birthday.
He did not make it to his 201st birthday, that poor bastard. 201st birthday, that's hard to say. Basically, they are now charged with the murder.
Of course.
Of the Vampire Gigolo.
The tongue-biting Vampire Gigolo.
Charged with it, it's Goussis, Warren Thomas Shea, and Mark Perry, the boyfriend of the Thai stripper with half a tongue.
They got him rocked up on it, too.
They got him, too.
I like it.
There is also another man, because Perry wasn't involved at the actual shooting, they don't think. He just set it up.
Yeah.
But there's another man involved in the shooting who, this is the same Jack Price Bones guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so he implicates him now. This case, this happened in 2003, the murder. He wasn't even a suspect, this Jack Price Bones guy. He wasn't even a suspect, but in 2006, he just told the cops he did it.
What the fuck?
I assume to get...
It
was probably to get out from
more
under...
case, yeah.
Or he was being strong-armed by people he was afraid of to do it because who the fuck knows? It's organized crime and corruption and everything else. So anyway...
I'd love to hear somebody just be like, all right, listen, I'm just going to tell everything.
Yeah.
And just be honest and just lay it all out. I want to know the real facts of this because this is a fucking fascinating story.
It's fascinating and muddy as shit.
Yeah.
It's so fucking muddy. It's horrible.
Hollywood can't write shit like this.
No, this is what I mean.
Fantastic.
This is why it was a great series and all that kind of thing. But I mean, this Goussis, I don't know how much they concentrated on him because I assume they concentrated on more of the players. This is like the guy... You remember in Godfather 2 when they shoot up Michael's bedroom?
Right.
In my home. You know, that whole thing. They shoot up Michael's bedroom and they go looking on the property afterwards for, anything, and they're searching and they find the dead guy in the water. That's this guy, I feel like.
Yeah.
This guy, he's not part of the Godfather story. We don't care about him, but I'm interested in that guy and what the hell happened to that guy.
How did that happen?
And I feel like all the gang land shit is probably concentrated more on better.
This is not like a one episode thing.
No.
Like for TV, this
takes forever.
Months. This is 3 fucking seasons.
I love them trying to humanize the Vampire Gigolo in a courtroom, by the way, because you have to get sympathy from the jury about the Vampire Gigolo. Who was on trial?
Guy who was convicted. He wasn't even convicted. He was out on bail,
and he was saying publicly he was a 200-year-old vampire
with his hand on a Bible.
Crazy shit, man. So prosecutor Andrew Tinney said of the old Vampire Gigolo, quote, "He was no more or less than a man, a normal person in our society."
Super normal.
No, he's fucking not.
I don't know.
I know a lot that's of not people. The right approach.
I know a lot of normal people. Yeah. I've never heard somebody say they're a 200-year-old vampire.
I think if you're a prosecutor... No, never. I think if you're a prosecutor in that case, you go with look, he was a piece of shit and a scumbag and probably an attempted murderer, but that doesn't mean it's okay to kill in the streets, law and order. That's what you go with. You don't go with... He was a nice guy. He helped out at church. He sick kids with cancer.
I've never even met a gigolo. I met Rob Schneider once who played a gigolo. That's all I've met. I've never met a gigolo. I know a lot of guys that give their dick away for free. That's it.
So he ends up being acquitted of the charges.
Of the Vampire Gigolo.
Goussis, Shea, Perry, all acquitted. All cleared of murder and manslaughter, even the lesser charges, everything.
It's probably because it's impossible to make that guy human.
Well, that, and it was such a muddy thing. That's the thing. If it's a muddy case, but they're pissed off about the victim being killed, then the jury's like, well, someone has to pay for this.
Right. Fuck this guy.
As this guy, they're like, the Vampire Gigolo. Like, it's like making a murder. If Stephen Avery had killed the Vampire Gigolo, they would have been like, hey, whatever, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean?
Some Thai whore somewhere with half a tongue.
Thai whore's got half a tongue. But, I mean, so, he gets off on that. But this is funny, too. This is in 2014 he gets off. So he's ankle deep in a fucking neck deep sentence at this point. Like, he's
ankle deep in a neck deep sentence.
It doesn't matter whether he gets convicted or not.
Who gives a shit? He's in there for 30.
The other 2 guys that were with him went free when they got acquitted, and
That's amazing.
Right back to jail.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because when he got acquitted,
you sir can fuck off.
Fuck off, back to jail. Either way, they're telling him to fuck off. He gets cleared of all the charges. He cries when they tell him he's not guilty. He cries and mouths thank you to the jury and puts his hand over his heart like it fucking mattered.
Yeah.
Like he should have said, help me.
Yeah.
I'm in jail.
Right.
So, I mean, Jesus Christ. By the way...
That's like when you're thirsty and somebody hands you an empty bottle of water saying thank you. Why? For what?
Absolutely.
For a trip to the trash can, you dickhead?
Absolutely. And if you're a big fan of Evangelos Goussis, there's more to the story, by the way. Hold on. But you need to check out BoxerT-shirts.com where you can get a Team Evangelos Goussis t-shirt for $19.97.
For Christmas, you fucking better get me one, James. I want one so bad.
With $5.99 flat shipping anywhere in the world, baby.
$19.97, $25 shipping
out the door
at your house.
You have a Team Evangelos, and it says like Team Crooked and Evangelos Goussis in like gold letters. You fucking better get one.
That's
I want to
badass.
see that. And people out there, if you do get one, buy that, take a picture of yourself in it on social media, and we will definitely blast it out.
I'll hang that shit in my house.
And we'll call you out, too, because you'll be our heroes. We'll talk about you on the show. We'll give you like 2 minutes, actually. So, I mean, this is crazy. They're all done. The girlfriend of the Vampire Gigolo, the pregnant girlfriend who has like a 10-year-old kid, 10-year-old gigolo seed walking around. She is rip-roaring pissed. She does an interview after she was silent the whole time.
Why? She's got a kid that's about to live 200 years. Who gives a shit?
She should be happy with her surroundings. But she's
thrilled.
Pissed off. She's mad that they got acquitted. She's like, Jesus Christ, I don't believe in the justice system at all. And she's not even sure that the people on trial were the ones that did it either. She's like, I don't know. All I know is it's 10 years later. Nobody's paid the price.
He's dead.
He's fucking dead.
Yeah.
I have a whole tongue right now that is just, I don't need a whole tongue, and he could have bit it off, and he didn't. He's gone. Instead,
I have plenty of food for him in my mouth.
Ty Hooker. So yeah, this is a disaster. Anyway, at this point, Goussis starts. He has appeals. At this time, he says, "quote It was amazing. Here you have, in their own words.
All right.
I have to introduce in their own words. Quote: It was amazing. Here you have criminals that have killed and maimed people for years and years, who are organizers and triggermen for most of the gangland murders, prepared to do deals. They didn't do it because they woke up one day and developed a conscience. They did it because they had everything to gain." And he's talking about these people.
You're one of them, you fuck.
Flipping. Well, no, he didn't get deals.
Yeah.
He was offered deals and never took one.
He's accusing these people of being scumbags. You're a scumbag, too.
Scumbag.
You just didn't find a way to fucking help your own yourself. You didn't sell them out.
And the appeal was denied for him in the Moran case and the Kane case, 2012. The Moran case, they dismissed him, and he's claiming a lot of corruption.
Yeah.
He claims that the informant, the Bones guy. Had 4 properties that were not seized. Apparently, there you get busted for shit like this. They seize your shit.
That shit.
4 properties that weren't seized. Also claims that he had a $400,000 tax bill that was reduced to $40,000 in a quote memorandum of understanding. I don't know what the hell that is.
Sweet.
That's 10%.
I don't think the IRS here has that.
That's 10 cents on the dollar, my friend. That's wow.
$40,000. You can sell one of your properties and be in the money still.
Also claims that he had other perks that he got, he got to go with his wife and walk on the beach with his wife and dog. At one point, while this was all going on, while he was in custody, they let him have these little perks.
Let him go enjoy some sunsets.
And they said that he would, and it's all in, this is all documented that he has contradicting statements and the police would basically help him get a timeline together to get it to what they wanted.
That couldn't have happened then, wink, wink.
He's very Jay and Serial at this point.
All
you
right.
know what I mean? He's very and it's even the same phone records. He changes his times and days to fit phone records and shit like that.
How about
so
that?
It's all a big mess there. He says this is good too. Another in their own words here for Mr. Goussis. He says about Bones here, he is not a man who is worried by the normal taboos that we all have. He doesn't see anything wrong with making false statements or implicating people as long as it serves his purpose and his alone.
Yeah, sounds like a stool pigeon.
Goussis says this he's above anything.
Right.
He's not a rat, I'll say that, but he did kill he was involved in murders of his friends that he lied to. Yeah. His buddy Kane, that was his pal.
Right.
He thought he was his boy.
Told his brother. It's a good guy.
Yeah.
It's a good guy.
It's a good guy. He's his boy. He takes care, and then he
shoots him in the eye.
Yeah, shoots him in the eye in a car, or at least sets him up to be shot in the eye in a car.
At minimum.
So at this point he's in jail till 2039. That's it. Nothing else to do. He's there is literally, I think it's a 25-page manifesto that he wrote, and it's this is horrible, they're screwing me, this is the crime and sports dog squeaky, they're horrible, they're screwing me over.
He had everything.
This is all the corruption, this is everything, so that's out there, and it sounds like he's got a point, but at the same time, he pissed away the most promising life you could have. He pissed it away.
He had everything on a plate.
Yep. He was
such a fighter.
People in his corner, his brother, Fieri, who we have another quote from here.
Right.
This is the cherry on top right here. This is the guy, some silver-haired, middle-aged white man summing it all up for us right here. Fieri says of him, quote, "Ange was a good kid with a good heart. He could have made it to world champion if he had only put his heart into it. If only he had listened."
Unbelievable.
That's it, man. That's the story of him. He didn't listen.
His story could end with a controversial fight at MGM where he loses to a decision, or he knocks out Mike Tyson, or he knocks out. He could have been something. He could have been a contender.
Exactly, literally. Or he could have done it a normal boxer. He could have had a nice career. He could have made a bunch of money, fought a couple guys on pay-per-view, then started getting in trouble for domestic violence and beating his wife, and nobody would pay for his pay-per-views anymore.
Selling a grill. Sell a grill on
20 years
QVC.
later, gain 100 pounds, smile, and sell a fucking grill. That's what I'm saying. He could have had a life. He could have had something, and instead he threw it away to be a complete jerk-off. And the organized crime aspect of it was a huge part. So that's a huge problem, too. So I hope that wasn't too confusing with triple murders.
It's so deep.
It's a deep thing.
It's a fun one, though.
It's super
so
fun. Yeah,
fucking
like
psychotic.
I said, we could have spent 3 hours talking about the whole organization and breaking it down. But I mean, I just wanted to stick to what was pertinent to Goussis. But I mean, good.
You did a great job today, James. That was a great timeline.
Well,
that
thank
was fun.
It was. I had a blast. I hope you guys had a good time listening to that because that was crazy. This was a wild story. Evangelos Goussis.
Sick.
I didn't know anything about him at all as an American. I know the Australians, it's probably big news.
Big deal,
But here, I had no idea, so I'm really excited that we got to do something like that.
And I hope we pronounced everybody's names right.
Oh, we fucked up city names. We made fun of Crocodile Dundee.
One
we did
I guarantee we got
offend.
is the Vampire Gigolo.
Vampire Gigolo. Boom. Vampire.
Fucking lights out.
Oh, God. So he killed the vampire. You have to be a badass to kill the Vampire Gigolo. But
silver bullets to the neck.
Next week, I think I'm gonna try to. I have a couple of NBA players in mind because the NBA playoffs are going on. We're getting near the finals. I got a couple NBA guys in mind, and
they fuck up
a lot. I have just so many. We have bodybuilders. We have NFL guys. We have soccer. We have so many guys.
We've got a great boxer that I can't wait.
Great boxer.
Can't wait.
We have so much fun stuff to do. So I mean, keep tuning in, guys. Please tell your friends.
Absolutely.
Pass it around. Tell everybody on social media. It helps us so much. The more, so please do that.
And thanks to everybody that's done it already.
Yeah, you
this
guys
has
are
been
awesome.
so fun.
Thank you. I mean, honestly, your kindness is blows us away, and we're assholes, and so thank you for being nice to us. We don't know how to. We're comics. We don't know how to take to people being nice to us. You know what I'm saying? We're used to being treated like shit. So you guys are too nice to us.
Mainly by ourselves. We're harder on ourselves than anybody
our
could
friends,
be,
anyone that we associate with. So thank you guys so much. Jimmy, why don't you give them your social media info?
At Whisman Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. WHISMAN Sucks.
And I am at Jimmy P is funny. And please follow the podcast itself at Crime and Sports on Twitter. crimeandsports@gmail.com and facebook.com/crimeandsports.
Can't wait for you guys to see Frankie.
We have really cool social media too. We make like pretty neat little pictures in Photoshop.
Silver-haired, middle-aged puppy.
Yeah, all sorts of silver-haired, middle-aged puppy here. So we have all sorts of fun stuff for you. Please keep the train rolling. Crime and Sports movement. Keep it moving forward. Live from the Crime and Sports studio. We will see you next week. Thank you so much.
Beautiful Anonymous changes each week. It defies genres and expectations. For example, our most recent episode, I talked to a woman who survived a murder attempt by her own son. But just the week before that, we just talked the whole time about Star Trek. We've had other recent episodes about sexting in languages that are not your first language, or what it's like to get weight loss surgery. It's unpredictable, it's real, it's honest, it's raw. Get Beautiful Anonymous wherever you listen to podcasts.